Hey guys, so this week we have a very special video. This is a collaboration with another amazing artist YouTuber named and I'm sorry if I get this wrong, Junifarben illustration. I probably pronounced that wrong. That's just kind of how it sounds to me whenever I hear her say it. And I'll make sure to put a link to her video down in the description. And how this kind of came about was she approached me about wanting to do a collab with her, and I said yes. And it was really exciting. I was really excited to do this. And when we were trying to think of a theme, she threw out a couple of really great ideas, like elemental themes or the theme of circus. And whenever I heard the word circus, I was really intrigued by it because I'd never really worked with that kind of a theme before. And so I kind of felt, though, that we needed to maybe have something just a little bit less broad than just circus. So I thought maybe we could just like combined some of the themes. So we ended up with light and dark circus gods or goddesses. And so I drew the light circus goddess and she drew the dark circus god. And it was just so exciting to work on. I was really excited to work with this theme. So if you guys don't know who she is, I really recommend that you go check her out. She has a really amazing channel. I really love how she explains her process. I feel like she's really good at articulating herself whenever she talks about it. Her style is really beautiful and I really love her coloring. So yeah, you guys should definitely go check her out. Now, as for like how I came about with my idea for my piece is I just kind of had to go on Pinterest, and I just typed in circus and just sort of saw what images came up to give me an idea, because I felt like I didn't really have like enough visual library, I guess you could say, to just kind of come up with something. Although I did have the idea kind of early on that I wanted like a girl with like, or I wanted her to have like her skirt be like a tent. That was like my only like thing that was pretty early. And so I was looking on Pinterest and just sort of things kind of slowly came together. I knew I wanted her to have like clown makeup, but I saw like some pictures of like some tightrope walkers, and so I gave her like that little parasol or umbrella or whatever it is, and like the little crown with the feather, and like gloves and little ruffle thingy, and like kind of made her dress resemble a little bit that of a ringleader, and also, again, like I said, the tent. So I wanted like her skirt to be parting like a tent, and you could sort of see inside the tent, I guess. And I wish I kind of would have did a little bit better of a composition of what was inside her skirt, but the idea was kind of like just for her to be guardian over all of these things that you kind of associate with circus, you know, like just fun, light, happy times, but also just kind of like what's the word I'm looking for, like things that are like just very unique and very different. And so that was my idea for that, and I wanted to make sure I kept that all pretty light, which leads me to, I didn't know whether I wanted to use Copics or watercolor for this piece, but I was kind of forced to use watercolor in a way because whenever I drew the sketch for this, it was just a little bit too big for my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And so I'm like, well, I guess I'm using watercolor then, because my watercolor paper is 9 by 12. So I was able to kind of add in her feet, or the rest of her feet. I only had like half of her feet in the sketch. Something I didn't really quite realize that I was even doing until after I was doing the stuff inside the tent was that I kind of subconsciously picked a mostly primary color palette, which is actually really really great because, like, you know, circuses use like primary colors a lot, but I didn't think about that whenever I was actually just coloring everything else about it right here. It wasn't until, like, you know, I was doing the stuff inside the tent, skirt tent, that I realized that I was even doing that. And then I was like, oh, well, her hair's red, and like there's a lot of yellow, and then like there's the blue of the background. The only although I did use like some purple to shade stuff, but it's mainly primary color, which I thought was really strange. I didn't even realize I was doing it. Or she kind of reminds me a little bit of the Red Queen in a way, like just, I think it's the hair and the like just the makeup and stuff, but yeah. A mistake I made here was that, and I don't think it's quite up here yet, but her feather and her hair and the parasol are all very similar colors, and I don't think that looks very good. So I used my shimmer. I used my Prima watercolors for the gold parts on her dress, which the gold in the Prima watercolor set is like a shimmer, like if you hold it up to the light, sparkles. And doing the moon was actually one of my favorite parts of this, like doing the cheeks especially. I think like that kind of old art that they kind of this even also existed a bit in theme parks too, I think, where they have like the really like red cheeks, that very vintage art and stuff. Like I really like that. That's something that I've always been very attracted to. I don't know why, but yeah, doing the moon was one of my favorite parts. I enjoyed doing the sky too, but I got really nervous doing the shine around the moon, which I think I could have done a little bit better. Kind of ran out of stuff to say. I feel like I've just been like rapidly talking this whole time, and now I've run out of stuff to say. A challenge that kind of happened even like beyond this drawing was creating the thumbnail. I've never really, I only ever did one custom thumbnail, and I am a total like technological and like computer illiterate. I don't even know. Like I like spent a good 2 hours creating that thumbnail because I just wasn't really quite sure what to do. But thankfully Pixlr saved me, so it was actually pretty easy once I knew what to do, but before I was like messing around with stuff in GIMP, and I just, I don't even want to talk about it. something that I also kind of struggled with was how far to even go. Like, I kept wondering if I should go darker with some things, and you can kind of see I keep gradually getting darker with this guy, which is somewhat intentional because I wanted it to dry a little bit before I added in another layer. But this is something that I do struggle with a lot in watercolor, especially. I don't know why it doesn't really happen with other mediums other than digital, but let's not even talk about that. Is I sometimes just don't know quite when to stop. Like, usually what just ends up happening is I'm like, well, I don't know what else to do with this, so I guess it's done. That's just, I'm always like, should I do another layer? What else should I do with this? Like, sometimes it just doesn't feel quite done, but I don't know what else to do with it, and that's just, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know when to stop, but then I can sometimes end up with some serious overkill if I keep going. Once again, I was challenged with what colored liners to use, and I chose brown because that's a little bit of my go-to color. Did I use brown? I'm trying to think. Did I actually use sepia? No, I used brown. I used brown, except for on like the ruffles I used red. And this was just to kind of help the white part stand out, I guess, a bit. I don't know exactly what my thought process was there, but I do really like a lot of my pictures that were lined in red. I think that they look pretty cool, but I didn't want to use red for this entire image because I was afraid of like her hair, like the lines of her hair kind of getting lost with the color. So I wanted something darker. Well, that's really all I have to say. I kind of wish I had some more to talk about, but I really don't. And like I said, go check out Junifarben or whatever the name is. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that. She's really amazing, and you should definitely go check out her channel and her part of this collab. And it was a real joy working with her, working with this theme. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and if you liked it, comment and subscribe and all that, and I'll see you next video. Bye!